and exemptions. Now we will go into the details of exemptions under section 54F and section 54G. Section 54F deals with exemptions when tax on long-term capital gain arising out of sale of an asset other than residential house property and investment of consideration in residential house. And section 54G is about exemption from capital gain arising from shifting of industrial undertaking from urban area to non-urban area. Now let us look into each of these sections in detail. So section 54F, exemption from tax on long-term capital gain arising out of sale of an asset other than residential house property. So the sale of an asset should be other than the residential property and the investment should be in residential house. Then you can claim an exemption under section 54F. Here I would like to bring into notice that section 54 dealt with the long-term capital gain arising from sale of residential house property and investment in new residential house property. But this section 54F deals with the sale of an asset other than residential house property and investment on consideration in residential house property. Now we will see what are all the conditions to be fulfilled. The first condition is exemption can be claimed by individuals and Hindu undivided family. The sale of long-term capital asset other than residential house property. Sale should be the long-term capital asset other than, should not be a residential house property. On the date of transfer, the assessee should not be the owner of more than one residential house. That means he should not own any other house when he sells the house. When he purchases also, it should be the only house which he should have in hand. The time limit to purchase or construct the new house property is 1 year before the date of transfer of existing long-term capital asset. One year before the date of sale of existing long-term asset, or 2 years after the date of sale of existing long-term capital asset. Or if the assessee decides to construct a new house property, then he should construct within 3 years from the date of transfer. So here the main thing is 1 year before the date of transfer, or 2 years after the date of transfer, and in case if he constructs the house, it should be within 3 years from the date of transfer. This is the prescribed period. Now let us see what are the exemptions to be claimed. If the amount invested is more than the net sale consideration, then entire long-term capital gain is exempt from tax. If the amount invested in purchase of residential house property is less than the net sale consideration, then the exempted capital gain is calculated as follows. Amount invested, this is the formula for the asset. In case if the amount invested is less than the net sale consideration, this amount invested into long-term capital gain divided by net sale consideration. Next is capital gain account scheme. Here also we have the concept of capital gain account scheme. If the assessee has not purchased or constructed the house, the assessee is given an option to invest in capital gain account scheme with nationalized bank or IDBI before the due date of furnishing of return of income. Exemption can be claimed under the following conditions. The newly acquired house property should not be sold within a period of 3 years from the date of purchase or acquisition or construction of house property. The whole amount deposited should be utilized for the purchase of new residential house within the date of transfer of original asset. So the whole amount has to be deposited, should be utilized for the purchase of new residential house within the stipulated period of time, that is within the period of 3 years. Then only you can claim the exemption under the section 54F and for capital gains account scheme. If the amount deposited under capital gain account scheme remains partly utilized, then unutilized amount becomes taxable in the year in which the time limit expires. So for what is a taxable amount, unutilized amount is, you have to calculate in this way. Amount unutilized into long-term capital gain divided by net sale consideration. Problem number 1. Mr. Ajay sells jewellery on 16th August 2018 for rupees 60 lakhs. Cost of jewellery on 10th June 2001 was rupees 12 lakhs. Brokerage and commission paid for transfer was rupees 20,000. From the earned capital gain, Mr. Ajay purchased a residential house on 7th January 2019 for rupees 15 lakhs. Calculate taxable capital gain for the assessment year 2019-20. First we will find out the long-term capital gain. Here we can very well know that it's a long-term capital gain because the jewellery was purchased on 10th June 2001 and sold on 16th August 2018. It was held for more than 3 years and it's a capital asset. So we have to find out the index cost of acquisition. Moreover, you are given brokerage and commission paid for transfer, that is 20,000. It's nothing but your expenses on transfer. So you write computation of taxable capital gain of Mr. Ajay for the assessment year 2019-20. Sale consideration amount is 60 lakhs. From that you deduct the expenses on transfer. The expenses on transfer is 20,000. If you deduct that, you get 59,80,000, which is a net consideration. From the net consideration, you have to find out the index cost of acquisition. So 12 lakhs into 280 is the current year's index cost divided by the purchase year's index cost is 100. For 2001 to it's 100, so divided by 100 you get 33,60,000. From the net sale consideration, if you deduct the index cost of acquisition, you get the long-term capital gain. Now coming to the exemption part under section 54F, here we can see that Mr. Ajay purchased a new residential house property within a period of 1 year. Jewellery was sold, a long-term capital asset other than house property was sold and residential house is purchased. So in that case we can claim exemption under section 54F. And the house was purchased within a period of 1 year. If you see, the year of sale is 16th August 2018 and purchase of new residential houses on 7th January 2019, within 1 year. So he qualifies and can claim an exemption under section 54F. Now we have to see how much is the amount invested. The amount invested is rupees 15 lakh. With that we will compare net sale consideration, that is 59 lakh 80,000. Since the amount invested is less, 15 lakh is less than 59 lakh 80,000. Here we have to apply the formula amount invested into long-term capital gain divided by net sale consideration, because it's partly invested. So 15 lakh into long-term capital gain is 26 lakh 20,000 divided by net sale consideration is 59 lakh 80,000. If you compute, you get 6 lakh 57,180. This is the exemption amount which you can claim. If you deduct from the long-term capital gain, you get the taxable long-term capital gain of 19 lakh 62,190. Now let us see problem number 2. From the following details submitted by Mr. X, calculate total taxable capital gain for the assessment year 2019-20 if CII for 2009-10 is 148 and 2018-19 is 280, on the assumption that he purchased a residential house for rupees 14 lakh on 12th March 2019. Year of sale is 2018-19. Sale price of 2 assets is given. One is gold and another one is shares. 20 lakhs and 12 lakhs. Then expenses on transfer, cost of acquisition and year of acquisition is given. For the solution, first we will find out the long-term capital gain, because we can see both gold as well as share, both were purchased. Gold was purchased on 2001-2 and shares were purchased on 2009-10, and the year of sale of both were 2018-19. So it's a long-term capital asset held for more than 3 years of time. So first we'll find out the long-term capital gain for this. Sale consideration for gold is 20 lakh and for shares is 12 lakh. From that, if we deduct expenses of transfer, 40,000 for gold and 3,20,000 for shares, you get the net sale consideration of 19 lakh 60,000 and 8 lakh 80,000. Now we'll find out the index cost of acquisition. Here I worked out the working note for both gold as well as shares. Cost of acquisition of gold is 3 lakhs and index cost for 2018-19, that is year of sale of gold, is 280 divided by purchase year index is 100. So it comes around 8,40,000. Same way we will find it out for the shares. 1 lakh is the cost of acquisition, and for 2009-10 the cost of inflation index is 148, and 2018-19 it is 280. So 1 lakh into 280 divided by 148, you get 1,89,188. If you deduct index cost from the net sale consideration, you get the long-term capital gain for both gold as well as shares. Now coming to the exemption part, here we can see that the assessee Mr. X has sold assets other than the residential house and purchased a new residential house. So he can claim exemption under section 54F. Again, here we can see there are more than one asset. That is, in the previous problem we had only one asset. Here we have gold as well as shares. 2 assets are there. In that case, we have to find out the percentage of long-term capital gain on net sale consideration for both gold as well as for shares. First we'll find out for gold. Long-term capital gain for gold is 11,20,000 divided by net sale consideration is 19,60,000 into 100, we get 57.14%. The same way we will find out for the shares. In case of shares, the long-term capital gain is 6,90,812 divided by net sale consideration is 8,80,000 into 100. It comes to around 78.5%. Here we can see that the highest percentage is for shares. So what we can do is we should give the full deduction for shares under section 54F. So to full deduction is 6,90,812. So here the taxable long-term capital gain for shares will be nil. After finding out the percentage, you have to see which percentage is higher. Whichever is higher for that particular asset, you have to give the whole deduction for that particular asset. Now after that, we will see what is the amount invested for gold. For in case of purchase of residential house, you have 14 lakhs is the investment in new residential house. So amount invested at 14 lakh minus 8,80,000, because shares we have already claimed an exemption. So 8,80,000 you have to deduct. So balance of 5,20,000 is there. So for this 5,20,000 is for gold. Now we will find out the exemption to be claimed under section 54F. Your long-term capital gain for gold will be 11,20,000. Sale consideration here is 19,60,000. So amount will by substituting the formula, amount invested is 5,20,000 into 11,20,000 is the long-term capital gain divided by net sale consideration is 19,60,000 of gold, which gives you the amount of 2,97,142. This is the exemption which you can claim for gold. Now if you deduct the exemption under section 54F from the long-term capital gain, you get the taxable long-term capital gain for gold as 8,22,858. So that's all relating to section 54F. Now we'll pass on to the next section, that is section 54G, exemption from capital gain arising from shifting of industrial undertaking from urban area to non-urban area. Here can claim the exemption of capital gain from the industrial undertaking from urban area to non-urban area. So who can claim the exemption? Exemption is available to individuals, firms, companies and other persons. Transfer should be a long-term or short-term specified capital asset. It should be long-term or short-term capital asset like plant, machinery, building or land. Exemption is not available for other assets. For example, furniture. For furniture and all, no exemption is available. Only for the specified assets like plant, machinery, building or land, this exemption is available. Then asset should have been used for the purpose of business of industrial undertaking situated in urban area. Industrial undertaking should be situated in urban area. The asset should be shifted to non-urban area. The capital gain should be reinvested by the assessee within a period of 1 year or 3 years after the date of transfer. Within 1 year of purchase or 3 years after the date of transfer, the capital should be reinvested. Capital gain should be reinvested. Shifting expenses can be claimed as an exemption. The newly acquired machinery should not be transferred within 3 years from the date of acquisition. These are all the basic conditions which has to be fulfilled. Now coming to the amount of exemption. If long-term capital gain is more than amount invested, in purchase of new land or building for shifting of industrial undertaking, or amount deposited in capital gain account scheme. Taxable amount under section 54G is equal to long-term capital gain minus amount invested to purchase a new land and building for shifting of industrial undertaking, or amount deposited in CGAS. In case of the amount, long-term capital gain is less than the amount invested. In purchase of new land or buildings for shifting of industrial undertaking, or amount deposited in CGAS, entire amount is exempt from tax. Here also we have capital gain account scheme. For claiming exemption, assessee should make investment before due date of filing return of income. If the assessee fails to do so, amount should be deposited in capital gain account scheme before due date of return of income to claim the exemption. Amounts so deposited can be withdrawn only for making investment within a prescribed period of 3 years. If the amount deposited is utilized partly in purchase of new asset, then unutilized amount becomes taxable if the prescribed period of 3 years expires. Problem number 3. From the following details given by Mr. Ram, who has shifted his industrial undertaking from urban area to non-urban area, calculate his taxable capital gain for the assessment year 2019 to 20. The following were extracted during the shifting. First one, he sold one plant and machinery costing rupees 8 lakh, purchased on 31st December 2017 on 20th April 2019 for rupees 13 lakh 80,000. He invested the gain amount in another plant and machinery in the non-urban area. Here this asset is a short-term capital asset because the asset was sold on 20th April 2018 and it was purchased on 31st December 2017. Within 3 years of purchase itself, the asset is sold. So it's a short-term capital asset. Again, we can see here that the investment made in plant and machinery for shifting from urban area to non-urban area fully qualifies to be claimed as an exemption under section 54G. So we will work out this. Sale of plant and machinery is 13 lakh 80,000. From that, if we deduct cost of plant and machinery 8 lakh, we get the short-term capital gain of 5 lakh 80,000. Again, as this particular asset is like plant and machinery is shifted from urban area to non-urban area, we can claim an exemption under section 54G, which is used for industrial undertaking, shifting from industrial undertaking. So taxable short-term capital gain for plant and machinery is nil. Then one more asset is given. He sold furniture costing 3 lakhs for rupees 5 lakh 68,000 in the course of shifting and purchased new furniture in the non-urban area. As I've already mentioned, in the conditions that transfer should be long-term or short-term, specified capital asset like plant, machinery, building or land. Exemption is not available for other assets like furniture. So here the asset is a furniture, so you cannot claim any exemption under section 54G here. But we can find out the short-term capital gain for this. The asset was sold for rupees 3 lakh, sold for 5 lakh 68,000 and it was purchased for 3 lakhs. So 5 lakh 68,000 minus 3 lakhs gives you a short-term capital gain of 2 lakh 68,000. So taxable short-term gain is 2 lakh 68,000. With this, we come to the conclusion relating to exemptions of capital gains as per your syllabus. Please go through the provisions mentioned to solve the problems. In the next video, we will discuss about income from other sources. These are all the textbook references which you can